Hello students, as we have completed chapter 4 complete explanation including the workbook part, here I am going to present you the videos related to chapter 4 which will help you in analyzing the chapter in more depth. Okay, so watch these videos very carefully and try to make out the notes out of those videos. This will contain the entire textbook and the application part, reflection of concepts part. All the questions can be answered by watching these videos which I am going to link up. Okay, so do watch them and if possible try to save them with you only. Thank you.
Refraction of light at curved surface. Introduction. We have learnt about refractions of light at a plane surface in the previous chapter. Now, let us understand refraction at curved surfaces. Refraction of light at a curved surfaces. Draw an arrow of length 4 cm using a black sketch pen on a thick sheet of paper. Take an empty cylindrical shaped transparent vessel such as glass tumbler. In the first case, when the vessel is empty, light from the arrow reflects at the curved interface, moves through the glass, enters into the air. In the second case, light enters the curved surface, moves through the water, comes out of the glass and forms an inverted image. When the vessel is filled with water, there is a curved interface between two different media. Consider a curved surface separating two different media as showing in figure. The center of the sphere, of which curved surface is a part, is called as center of curvature. It is denoted by letter C. Any line drawn from the center of the curvature to the point on the curved surface becomes normal to the curved surface at the point. The direction of the normal changes from one point to another point of the curved surface. The center of the curved surface is called the pole of the curved surface. The line joining the center of the curvature and the pole is called principal axis. Let us see how to draw ray diagrams for certain useful cases. According to Snell's law, the ray which travels along the normal drawn to the surface does not deviate from its path. Hence, both rays mentioned above the travel along the normal, so they do not deviate. Case 1. A ray traveling parallel to the principal axis strikes a convex surface and passes from a nearer medium to denser medium. Case 2. A ray traveling parallel to the principal axis strikes a convex surface and passes from denser medium to rarer medium. Case 3. A ray traveling parallel to principal axis strikes a concave surface and passes from denser medium to rarer medium. Case 4. A ray traveling parallel to principal axis strikes a concave surface and passes from rarer medium to denser medium. You might have noticed that the figures in reflected ray reaches a particular point on the principal axis. In figures, the refracted ray moves away from the principal axis. The point where refracted ray intersect the axis in all the above cases is called the focal point. Image formation. Consider a curved surface separating two media of refractive indices n1 and n2. A point object is placed on the principal axis at point O. The ray, which travels along the principal axis, passes through the pole undeviated. The second ray, which forms an angle alpha with principal axis, meets the interface at A. The angle of incidence is theta 1. The ray bends and passes through the second medium along the line AI. The angle of refraction is theta 2. The two refracted rays meet at I and the image is formed there. Let the angle made by the second refracted ray with principal axis be gamma and the angle between the normal and principal axis is beta. In figure, PO is the object distance which we denote as U. PI is image distance which we denote as V. PC is radius of curvature which we denote as R. N1, N2 are refractive indices of two media. In a triangle ACO, theta 1 is equal to alpha plus beta, and in a triangle ACI, beta is equal to theta 2 plus gamma is equal to beta minus gamma is equal to theta 2. According to Snell's law, we know n1 sin theta 1 is equal to n2 sin theta 2. Substituting the values of theta 1 and theta 2, we get n1 sin alpha plus beta is equal to n2 sin beta minus gamma, equation 1. If the rays move very close to the principal axis, the rays can be treated as parallel and recalled paraxial rays. Then the angles alpha, beta and gamma become very small. This approximation is called paraxial approximation. Sin alpha plus beta is equal to alpha plus beta and sin beta minus gamma is equal to beta minus gamma. Substituting in equation 1, n1 into alpha plus beta is equal to n2 into beta minus gamma implies n1 alpha plus n1 beta is equal to n2 beta minus n2 gamma, equation 2. Since all angles are small, we can write tan alpha is equal to an by NO is equal to alpha. Tan beta is equal to an by NC is equal to beta. Tan gamma is equal to an by Ni is equal to gamma. Substitute these in equation 2, we get n1 an by NO plus n1 an by NC is equal to n2 an by NC minus n2 an by Ni, equation 3. As the rays move very close to principal's axis, the point N coincides with pole of the interface P. Therefore, Ni, NO, NC can be replaced by Pi, PO and PC respectively. After substituting those values in equation 3, we get N1 by PO plus N1 by PC is equal to N2 by PC minus N2 by P1. N1 by PO plus N2 by Pi is equal to N2 minus N1 into PC, equation 4. Equation 4 shows the relation between refractive indices of media, object distance, image distance and radius of curvature. Here, PO is called the object distance, PI is called the image distance, PC is called radius of curvature. According to sign convention mentioned above, we have PO is equal to minus U, PI is equal to V, PC is equal to R. Substituting these values in equation 4, we get N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to N2 minus N1 by or equation 5. This formula can also be used for plane surfaces. In the case of a plane surface, radius of curvature or approaches to infinity. Hence, I by R becomes 0. Substituting this in equation 5, we get formula for the plane surfaces N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to 0. Implies N2 by V is equal to N1 by U. Lenses. A lens is formed when a transparent material is bounded by two surfaces of which one or both surfaces are spherical. That is, lens is bounded by at least one curved surface. Lenses can be of various types. A lens may have two spherical surfaces bulging outwards. Such lens is called double convex lens. Let us learn the terminology used in the case of lenses. Each curved surface of a lens is part of the sphere. The center of the sphere, which contains the part of the curved surface, is defined center of curvature. It is denoted by a letter C. If the lens contains two curved surfaces, then their centers of the curvature are denoted as C1 and C2. The distance between the center of the curvature and curved surface is called radius of curvature. Radial of curvature are represented by R1 and R2 respectively. Let us consider a double convex lens. The line joining the points C1 and C2 is called principal axis. The midpoint of a thin lens is called optical center of lens. Focal length of the lens. A parallel beam of light incident on a lens converges to a point as shown in the figure or seems to emanate from a point on the principal axis as shown in the figure. The point of convergence or the point from which ray seems emanate is called focal point or focus. The distance between the focal point and pole is called focal length of lens, denoted by F. Behavior of certain light rays when they incident on a lens. Situation 1. Ray passing through the principal axis. Any ray passing through the principal axis is undeviated. Situation 2. Ray passing through the optic center. Situation 3. Rays traveling parallel to the principal axis. The rays passing parallel to the principal axis converge at the focus or appear to diverge from the focus. Situation 4. Ray passing through focus. The ray passing through focus will take a path parallel to principal axis after refraction. When parallel rays making an angle with principal axis fall on a lens as shown in figures, the rays converge at a point or appear to diverge from a point lying on a focal plane. Rules to draw ray diagrams for image formation by lenses. For locating position and final the size of the image, we need two rays. Select a point on the object placed at a point on the principal's axis. Draw two rays that were chosen by you from rays mentioned in situation 1 to 4. Extend both rays to intersect at a point. This point gives position of a image. Draw a normal from the point of intersection to principal axis. Length of this normal represents the size of the image. Image formation by a convex lens for various positions of the object. Number 1. Object at infinity. The rays falling on the lens from an object at infinity are parallel to the principal axis. They converge to the focal point. So, a point-sized image is formed at the focal point. Number 2. Object placed beyond the center of curvature on the principal axis. When object is placed beyond the center of curvature C2, a real, inverted and diminished image is formed on a principal axis between the points F1 and C1. Number 3. Object placed at the center of the curvature. When object is placed at the center of the curvature on the principal axis, you will get an image at C1 which is real, entered and of the same size as that of object. Number 4. Object placed between the center of curvature and focal point. When the object is placed between center of curvature C2 and focus F2, you will get an image which is rear, inverted and magnified. The image will form beyond C1. Number 5. Object located at the focal point. When the object is placed at focus F2, the image will be at infinity. When the image forms at infinite distance away, we cannot discuss the size and nature of the image. Number 6. Object placed between focal point and optic center. If we place object between focus and optic center, we will get an image which is virtual, erect and magnified. Lens formula. The ray starting at O1 and moving parallel to the principal axis and which falls on the lens should pass through the local point F1 as shown in the figure. To locate the point of image I1 for the object point O1, consider another ray that passes through the optic center P. We know that any ray passing through the optic center P will not deviate. The ray starting from O1 and passing through optic center P will meet the refracted ray at the point I1. This point is the image of the point O1 of the object. Similarly, the image of the point O on the principal axis is formed at point I on the principal axis. We get the inverted image II1 of object OO1. PO, PI and PF1 are the object distance, image distance and focal length respectively. From the figure, triangle PP1, F1 and triangle F1, II1 are similar triangles. Implies PP1 by II1 is equal to PF1 by F1I, equation 1. But from the figure, F1I is equal to PI minus PF1. Substituting F1I in equation 1 above, we get PP1 by II1 is equal to PF1 by P1 minus PF1, equation 2. We have another set of similar triangles OO1, P and PII1. From these triangles, we get OO1 by II1 is equal to PO by PI. But from figure, OO1 is equal to PP1. Hence, we have PP1 by II1 is equal to PO by PI, equation 3. From 2 and 3, we get PO by PI is equal to PF1 by PI minus PF1. PI by PO is equal to PI minus PF1 by PF1. PI by PO is equal to PI by PF1 minus 1. On dividing the equation by PI, we get 1 by PO is equal to 1 by PF1 is equal to 1 by PI. 1 by PO plus 1 by PI is equal to 1 by PF1, equation 4. The above equation is derived for a particular case of the object while using a convex lens. To convert this into a general equation, we need to use the sign convention. According to the sign convention, PO is equal to minus U, PI is equal to V, PF1 is equal to small f. Substituting these values in equation 4, we get 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. This equation is called lens formula. Lens maker's formula. Imagine a point object O placed on the principal axis of the thin lens as shown in the figure. Let this be placed in a medium of refractive index Na and let refractive index of lens be Nb. Consider a ray from O which incident on the convex surface of the lens with radius of curvature r1 at A as shown in figure. The incident ray refracts at A. Let us assume that it forms image at Q if there were no concave surface. From the figure, object distance PO is equal to minus U. Image distance V is equal to PQ is equal to X. Radius of curvature R is equal to R1. N1 is equal to Na and N2 is equal to Nb. Substitute the above values in the equation N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to N2 minus N1 by R. Implies N2 by X plus N1 by U is equal to N2 minus N1 by R1, equation 1. But the ray that has refracted at A suffers another refraction at B on the concave surface with radius of curvature R2. At B, the ray is refracted and reaches at I on the principal axis. The image Q of the object due to convex surface is taken as object for the concave surface. So, we can say that I is the image of Q for concave surface. Object distance U is equal to PQ is equal to plus X. Image distance PI is equal to V. Radius of curvature R is equal to R1. For the refraction, the concave surface of the lens is considered as medium -1 and surrounding medium is considered as medium 2. Hence, the suffixes of refractive indices interchange. Then we get N1 is equal to NB and N2 is equal to NA. Substituting the above values in equation N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to N2 minus N1 by R. NA by V minus NB by X is equal to NA minus NB by minus R2. Equation 2. By adding 1 and 2, we get NA by V plus NB by U is equal to NB minus NA into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Dividing both sides by NA, we get 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to NV by NA minus 1 into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. We know NV by NA is equal to NVA, called refractive index of lens with respect to surroundings medium. 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to NVA minus 1 into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. This is derived for specific case for the convex lens, so we need to generalize this relation. For this, we use sign convention. Applying sign convention to the specific case, we get 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to NVA minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. We know that 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. So, we get 1 by F is equal to NVA minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Equation 3. If the surrounding medium is air, then the relative refractive index could be absolute refractive index of lens. 1 by F is equal to n minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. This can be used only when lens is kept in the air, where n is absolute refractive index, and this equation is called lens maker's formula.
మా వీడియో గనుక మీకు నచ్చినట్లయితే లైక్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. ఇలాంటి మరిన్ని వీడియోస్ కోసం మా ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోవడం మాత్రం మర్చిపోకండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ వాచింగ్.